Hey everybody, welcome to a Tuesday edition of Box Seats. I'm your host, Frank Holder, sitting here with talent and comedian. Two comedians who've been in the game for such a long time. They've been in comedy films, specials, commercials, toured. They did everything, but now they're about to join me in today's episode of a sports comedy talk show. Guys, how you doing?
Oh, I'm good, brother. I'm ready for the box seats. You see,
box seats, baby.
Yeah, Fig, how you doing? Doing good?
Yeah, man. If you ain't ready for the box seats, you ain't ready for nothing.
I like it.
You know how we always start out the show? We always just start out the show with the COVID report. So the COVID report this time is a little bit interesting because I woke up this morning and saw the news that the Sun Bowl, which is going on since Granddad been around, which has been around since 1935. The Sun Bowl is officially canceled because of coronavirus concerns, which I was like, wow, that's something you never thought you would see, like something like the Sun Bowl canceled. Then found out Ryan Davis is not going to be able to coach because of coronavirus concerns, and that's if the Ohio State Buckeyes play, because he's the coach for them, and of course again because of coronavirus concerns. Then I found out that the three QBs for Denver all tested positive, that their results came back negative, I should say. So they're going to be able to return Wednesday. But the biggest news I woke up this morning is when we were on the air yesterday, we were supposed to see the Baltimore Ravens play the Pittsburgh Steelers today. That's what's supposed to happen today. We went to bed. We did a show. We went to bed. We woke up this morning, found out, you know what? Baltimore Ravens game didn't push to Wednesday. And they only have 40 active players on a 53-man roster. So I guess my question to you is, talent, I'm going to say, what can happen that's going to make the NFL say, you know what, we are going to cancel the season? Because right now, it seems like they'll even have the water boy come in and play before they say, we're not. No.
I don't think it ain't going to happen, Frank. I mean, I got three words for you: greedy, greedy, and greedy. They about that buck. And when you're about that buck, you know, it's sort of like the president, when he was more about the economy than saving lives. He's like, listen, he said in his own words, it is what it is, survival of the fittest, it ain't gonna kill everybody, blah, blah, blah. In other words, that buck supersedes these health concerns. And they about to get that money, man. I don't think nothing's gonna pull that. I said it in the beginning. Once they made that dive and we're gonna do it, you knew they wasn't cancel.
Yeah, I can't even disagree with that. Fig, you want to throw in something 2 cents?
Man, yeah. First off, the Sun Bowl was canceled because it was cloudy. And the commissioner has been replaced by this new representative called Buck. He said, my name is Buck. I drive a truck and I don't give them. We're playing these games in the NFL. That's all I'm trying to say. He said, I don't care who you got out there. He said, we can play everybody except for the coach. Ain't no coaches playing in the game.
Right.
So now Baltimore game and the Pittsburgh Steelers game, like I said, it's been moved to 3:40 p.m. Wednesday. They have 40 players active. Lamar Jackson right now is not active to play. Pittsburgh, you know, the thing is, NFL players want to play because of one reason. If they play, they get paid. If they don't play, they don't get paid. So I understand, but the game's been moved back and forth and everything else. So I guess my concern is that it's kind of not fair to the Baltimore Ravens to make sure the game still happens this week. And it seems like the NFL is trying to make sure they get it in this week. But it's not fair when you're looking at the standing, because Baltimore Ravens is on the brink of not even making the playoff. If they lose this game, they get out of the wild card position. The Patriots and another team, maybe two more other teams, move into their position or up, and they get bounced out. Is that fair? You know what I mean?
No, it's not fair. But you knew when you came to play in COVID season, none of this was going to be fair. Just think about it.
I don't think they knew that, though, talent. I don't think players knew that they were going to be crammed up and they were going to have to play on a Wednesday and then turn around and play on a Sunday or a Monday. I don't think they thought of that.
I mean, they just didn't get paid. I mean, the player's going to work. You're going to work. So you don't know if you got a barbershop, you don't know if you're going to cut 5 heads or 10 heads that day. You know, the day goes with the wind. You know, it depends on how people feel about grooming themselves that day. Same thing with football. You had to know at least. I'm not saying you knew it was going to be Tuesday or Wednesday, but you had to know you was going to be facing a lot of irregularities.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I will say this. I would think if I'm an NFL player, and I'm assuming, now of course I'm not in the circles, I'm assuming, Fig, that the NFL players figured if they got COVID, everything else, they wouldn't play Sunday. The game we pushed back to the following Sunday. You know what I mean? I don't think they thought it'd be crammed in Tuesday or Wednesday, and then they have to turn around and play again Sunday. That's what I'm thinking. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but if they did, I mean, you know, if they did the schedule like that, we'd run into a basketball season. Like when, like, you know, it's like a snowball rolling down the hill, man.
But let me, I don't mean to cut you off. They are doing that, though. That's my point. So if you're an NFL player, I don't think you think that it's going to happen that way. That's my point. You know what I'm saying? You get my point?
No, but I'm saying it's like, okay, you have all of these moving parts. You know, like they moving the Baltimore-Pittsburgh game to tomorrow. And then I think they were supposed to play on Sunday. You got these other teams that they're supposed to play. Now they're waiting around to play. Right. You know what I mean? So I think, if I heard correctly this morning, I think they're moving the game that they're supposed to play Sunday to at least Monday. So they move some games to Monday. I mean, it's a crapshoot, man. With COVID, it's a crapshoot.
You know, most NFL players usually need at least 6-7 days. Let's say, look, you need 6-7 days. The first 2 days, they get a couple. You know, the coaches got to prepare for the following game. Then you got a couple of practices. With the way it's scheduled right now, there's no practices. There's no schedule. There's nothing. You play. It's like you're playing basketball, except you're playing football. I don't think that's fair for the team that's playing. You know what I mean?
First off, fair is a place where they judge pigs. And second of all, it's like, listen, if you're in a car crash, the doctor tells you to wait, you know, 2-3 weeks, whatever, before you get up, start moving around, and they give you pain medication. These football players are in a car crash damn near every play, and they got to, look, sit in an ice bucket, you know what I mean, and I'll see you next week.
Oh,
you
God,
signed up for.
There's an 85-year-old black man, country southern black man inside of Pig's body. a fair way they judge pigs. You got to go back to the Green Mile and hear that one. That right there? What's up, boss?
Take my hand, boss.
but I know it's fair versus unfair, and you know, and all that other stuff. I guess my concern is talent is that when you see games like this, and there's so much money riding on it. And in the NFL, if your age means a lot, you know what I mean? Like certain people won't get a contract because they're 1 year older. You know what I mean? I guess that's my point. Is that that's why I keep saying fair versus unfair. The NFL players a lot of them seem to be forced to play, and then some of those same guys who were forced to play this year in COVID won't be able to play next year because when they're negotiating their contract, you know, the teams might be saying, well, you know, you're 25 now. When you were just 24, yeah, but I don't know if you could do it now at 25. You know what I mean? Like that's all. My thing is that it's forcing people to play. It's forcing certain issues to happen with all these players who are and a lot of them are check to check. You know what I mean? Talent. That's all I'm saying.
I know. I understand what you're saying, but here's my thing: is again, I go back to what I say. You may not know the intricate details of how things will be remedied, but you knew going into the season the world was in a weird place of an unknown virus, pandemic, if you will, and you knew by certain people working in a bubble, some people canceling altogether. You knew that your league, when they made the decision to go forward, you had to know it was going to be mad irregular, just not a regular season and mad things off balance. Now, whether that means playing on Wednesday, whether that means pushing it back 2 weeks, you knew some of this stuff was because there was no bubble. So if you didn't know anything else, you knew it was going to be, in your words, unfair. You just hoped you was on the right side of the unfairness.
Right. Fig,
it's like a handicap, you know?
Yeah, that's true. Fig, compared to the NBA, how do you think the NFL is handling this whole situation right now? Because
to me, you know what? It's two dynamics. One, I think they're not handling it very well. It's horrible because if you're saying compared to the NBA didn't have one positive COVID case during the whole situation. But I don't know if you can do that, you know, with NFL players, being that there's so many moving parts and so many different people on the team. I mean, you count staff and everybody included, there's maybe 100 people per NFL team. How do you create that situation in a bubble? It's kind of difficult. Although they offered them some sort of bubble situation, and the NFL Players Association said no deal. So whatever comes now is pretty much on them. They offered. It's just like, yo, I'm sick. And I'm offering you some medicine, and you say, nah, I don't want it. It's like, okay, well, you on your own.
You know, I look at it like this. The NFL, the NBA did such an amazing job. The NFL is going to get graded on what they did. I think the NFL is going to get an F by forcing certain teams like the Denver Broncos to play the game with absolutely no quarterback at all. I think that, I mean, and that's just one instance. You can go down the line. Challenge if I'm wrong. You can tell me, or you think I'm wrong, but you can go down the line. You know, if one quarterback gets it, you know, that's one thing, you know, and if somebody else gets it, everything else. But if a whole team gets COVID and everything else, and then they're still playing the game, and there's still some disease remnants, and you know what I mean? Like, you go to the Dallas game a couple of weeks ago, you go to the Pittsburgh game at the beginning of the season. I mean, you go through all the stuff throughout the entire season since the season started. I don't care what nobody says. I think the NFL right now, they're getting the F on this by forcing these guys to play the game instead of having a fluctuating schedule, because no matter what, it seems like they are not moving that Super Bowl date for nothing. They're going to make sure they cram these teams to play to win, so they can. It seems like they are making that date. Like, that date can't fluctuate. I don't know why, but that's just my thought.
Well, I don't think it's going to be a all around 100% F. I agree with you. I would give it an F. But I think that the NFL at the end of the day is going to be judged like the rest, like the same thing this virus has been judged with. The country is split. So the people who really wanted to see football, who would have deemed you a punk for canceling the season, they're going to give them a high grade. They're going to say they thugged it out, they toughed it out. At least we got some football this year. We had a Super Bowl. Then you're going to get the people who really tapped into this virus and saying, yo, wear your mask. You know, keep your social distance, follow the rules. Let's not spread it. Those are us. We're going to be the people that say, you get an F, bro. You forced people to play. People got sick. They went home to their families. God knows how many other people got sick. You got to realize, when you do the COVID report, you're talking about the league and the players that we know. We're not mentioning who they gave it
to. Right. You got a final thought on this before we move on?
Yeah, man, just what, you know, piggybacking on what Talon said, you know, when these players test positive, you don't know what they're going home to, their respective homes, you know, and the families, extended families, grandparents, whatever, children, you don't know who else is getting sick because, you know, of these guys testing positive. It's real dangerous situation. You know, I think they should have opted for the bubble, you know, for no other reason than to protect their families.
Now, I will leave it with this and say that the NFL, even though I give them an F, I do want to give them somewhat of credit for fining teams for not wearing masks on the sidelines. But to me, it kind of makes no sense because the players are still playing with no masks, and they come back on the sideline and they got to put on a mask, and they go on to play it and then play no mask. You know, that makes no sense to me. But hey. Let's talk about the NFL game that happened last night, man. You know, the Seattle Seahawks were playing the Eagles last night. You know, the game was more competitive than I thought it was going to be. I'll say that, Talent, in the beginning. And then, of course, Seattle ended up moving forward, you know, and putting their foot down. But DK Metcalf, when you look at that boy right now, Talent, that boy is a beast. If anything, there's like 31 other teams who passed on DK Metcalf right now. You know they're regretting that right about now. Even though Seattle passed him twice and they ended up getting him. But there's 31 other teams right now sitting there saying, damn, he was there, right? He was sitting there? Yeah, he was. What's your thought when you see the game last night?
Well, I mean, I feel like you. I didn't expect it to be as competitive in the first couple of quarters or a quarter and a half. I expect Russell to pull out a lot of those games all season long. We didn't see him do it. They got beat by some teams, but last night was how I expect them to look all season. That's Seattle I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. That's the team. That's how they should be looking, not just against the mediocre teams, but against the competitors, the ones that we look in top 10 teams. That's how they're supposed to look. You know, and unfortunately in the last, I don't know how many weeks, we haven't seen that Seattle. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So kudos to them last night. Kudos to the team playing like a complete team. Actually had the nerve to play a little defense.
What you thought when you saw it?
They had the nerve.
It was a bird match.
It
You know what
was.
it was like, man, in the beginning of the game, man, I was like, oh my God, this Eagles team has really come to put it on them, because they was fighting and pushing, and you know what I mean? It was wild. It was like a dog fight. You know what I mean? It was, and then the Seattle Seahawks sort of bit the Eagles in a vulnerable place, and then it was like bang, 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 bang. Like DK Metcalf, he was mashing people out of the way and catching passes. And the dude that was the dude, the dude that was playing defensive back that was playing him got into like a little pushing match in the shove with DK Metcalf. I guess he was trying to intimidate him. But by the end of the game, man, he was sitting on the side. He was sitting on the sideline like, nobody knows the troubles I've seen. It was like, help!
And I think your boy went in first place with interceptions this season.
Yeah, he did. So I guess the question to you, child, is what the NFL team that showed up last night wearing the uniform called the Philadelphia Eagles, where have they been first 10 weeks, 11 weeks? Because that didn't even look like, for the first 2-3 quarters, that didn't even look like the Eagles that I had seen for the first couple of games. And I'm saying that, okay. And then as the game went on, I was like, oh, okay, that's the Eagles that I expected to see. They were very competitive. I was like, oh, there they go. They showed up. They went to the halftime. They came. Oh, that's those dudes right there. So
they are who we thought they were.
There you go.
The Eagles are, man, and I'm not mad because, obviously New York teams that got to go against them, they're bumming out. New York Giants are cutting on right in time. So we're going to see, like, even though that whole division sucks, you're going to see New York creeping into the playoffs, I think.
Yeah, I think you will too. Fig, what's your thought when you saw the Philadelphia Eagles actually play some ball, and then they waned off?
They play ball, but here's the thing. At the end of the day, this kid, Carson Wentz, which I think is a talented quarterback, I think he's a little shell-shocked. He played pretty well when he first got there. They was calling him walk it to him, Wentz, because he was so on point with his passes. But here's the thing. I don't care what kind of quarterback you got. You ain't got an offensive line to protect him. It's like buying a luxury car and not getting insurance. You ain't getting no protection, man. He's running for his life. He's throwing the ball he's trying to save his life, man. He's getting rid of the ball too soon. He is not playing well because I think he's not being protected.
The funny thing is,
look bad.
The funny thing is it seems like the Eagles are kind of forced to play Carson Wentz because they got that big, huge contract. But talent, when they brought in Jalen Hurts looked really, even though he came in for 3 plays, he looked really, really good. And then he came out. So I can't remember the last time I saw an NFL game where a QB was playing okay. He comes out, they put in another QB for 3 plays. Then he comes out. Now he's hurt. Then he comes back in and they say, okay, well, Carson, now you come back in. No QB was hurt. Nothing happened. It was like, okay. The only team I've ever seen do that recently was New Orleans, but they did that because of a style of play. They wanted to run the ball with that QB that they had. So but last night, I was like, okay, they took out Carson Wentz. They brought in Jalen Hurts. Okay, they took him out after 3 plays. Why did they take him out? I mean, so I guess my question is
what the hell are they doing? The question is, what the hell are they doing?
What the hell are they doing? And 2, are they trying to see if this guy's going to be the next QB and they auditioning Carson Wentz? They're getting ready to get Carson Wentz out, or are they auditioning Jalen Hurts because they're trying to make a power move in the offseason? I mean, yeah, what the hell are they doing, Tom?
That's what I was about to say. What it looks like they're doing is, what other better time? We're slumming it out right now. What better time than to start taking a peek at our other options? Because we lived and died by, they made a crucial decision a season and a half ago and lived and died with this Wentz guy. And Wentz ain't been the same since. Yeah. So, pardon the rhyme, Wentz ain't been the same since. But so I think last night was exactly what you said. That's an audition of the next phase. I think they're out of the Wentz market. I think they lost faith in Wentz, and you're not the guy now. That's the funny thing about the NFL, man. It happens so fast. 1 minute you're the guy, next minute you're not the guy. Right now in Philadelphia, Wentz, I believe, is not the guy.
Yeah, I think he's not the guy either, but I think they're trying to figure out what they're going to do because his contract is huge. Like, I don't think anybody going to come in and say, yeah, let me take that dude, let me take that contract. I can't see another team doing that, but I don't know. What you think, Vic?
I think they're stuck with Wentz because of the contract. That is a lot of money on their books, and I don't care who you put out there. If you're not going to beef up that front line, you're going to have the same problem all over again. As we said with Miami, they were playing well, and then they put their rookie out there, and he eventually got beat up when he met a decent team. He got beat up, and now they took him back out again. It's the same thing with Jalen Hurts, man. I think that play looked really stupid the way they did that last night. I was like, yo, maybe the coach is trying to get fired.
Maybe. That's funny.
That looked really stupid last night. They put him in for like a couple plays. And here's the funny thing. He did well, Frank.
Yeah, he did.
For the first play, he looked really good. I was like, okay. They went another direction. They're going with this kid. He looks well. And then they took him out after doing good.
So why they take him out, Vic? That's why I'm asking you. Like, why they take him out?
The coach is trying to get fired. And listen, he's like, yo, this dude is doing good. Let's get Wentz back in there because what is strange. The NFL is one of the organizations, the teams that when you pay a guy a lot of money, you're stuck with that dude. You know what I mean? And they pay Carson Wentz a lot of money, and they can't just get rid of him because when you can cut him, but you still got to pay him.
But
the money is on your cap.
Maybe we're overthinking this. Maybe Wentz had to take a doodle. Has anybody thought about this? Maybe we're just way overthinking this. He had the bubblies. He had to go. It took 3 downs. By the time he took the doodle, 3 downs, a timeout, whatever, came back off the feel better, washed his hands, back in again.
Porta potty on the sideline.
I seen it. You seen it? Did you see the porta potty thing they got?
Nah, I ain't see it.
They showed it last week where it looks like a flat mat, right? And then you step on something, and the top comes. The thing is already on the bottom, but when you step on the thing comes up. You go in the little door is all vinyl, comes up over you, privacy. Go to the bathroom, comes down. So maybe you had to take a doodle. I mean, we could be overthinking this.
That's hilarious.
Well,
3 downs.
I guess let me ask you this. Like Fig mentioned it just for a hot second, but do you think the coach is going to be around next year because of what they're doing? And then that's my last question on Philly.
No, they're cleaning. Philly's going to clean. I'm telling you. Here's the thing: because the other quarterback they may have a little time to play with. You don't have to just get rid of Wentz right away. You just start with the other guy if he's good enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and then maybe a year later or whatever, you deal him off or whatever. You don't have to deal him right away.
Okay, I agree with that. Fig, what you think?
Yeah, man, I think the coach is out of there. You know what I mean? My only fix for this is you go into the offseason. You're not going anywhere this year. I would use all my picks on the offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
You got a decent quarterback. He's on your books for the next couple years at least. He's getting a boatload, a truckload of money. They had to back up with a flatbed every time Carson Wentz gets paid. You're going to hold on to him because I don't think the team is picking him up. Not for that kind of money. So you got him. You got him on your roster. You might as well use him. I would get some offensive linemen to kind of try and protect this dude to see if he could get back to the Carson Wentz that he was when he first started.
I think Doug Peterson was going to get fired, but I think they got a whole lot more problems than worry about the coach right now. I think they got a lot of problems. They got whatever they can get in the draft, whatever they picks they need to do it. Because, like you said, like there's offensive line problems, there's defense, there's problems all around that team. But anyway, let's
Frank. Let me say shit. I don't think Doug was there when Carson Wentz got. Was he there when they selected Carson Wentz?
Yes, he was there. He helped put together that team that went to the Super Bowl. Yeah, wow. He was there. So, but now how that team fell off so fast, that's the thing about the NFL. You could be hot this year, and it might be again. It'll take you a while before you get hot again. Listen. If anybody knows, you all New York lovers, y'all know, like everybody else knows, you could be hot this year, and you could be hot not next year, but after that, it might be another 20 before you get hot
Frank,
again.
listen, man, I hate to tell you, the Giants is leading the NFC East. That's all I'm saying. So we hot again with 4 games.
Playoffs. The only thing is, the Giants. If the Giants win one more game, I think that they'll be sure win the NFC East. If all I got to do is win one more game. But the problem is Daniel Jones is hurt now. So I guess the thing is talent. I'm going to ask you this since I was going to ask you a Giants question anyway. The Giants are trending in the right direction. Joe Judge is great. You know, their quarterback was hurt. You know, hamstring issue. Do you think the Giants can win enough games in the next couple of weeks to actually get to the playoffs and lead the NFC East? Because their schedule seems to get soft in the next couple. I heard him say that this morning. The schedule gets really soft. They have a chance to steal the thunder. The Eagles
they'll take their division, because when you look at the division, it's real easy to take, and they're trending like you said right now. During the season, every team has a peak moment for their team.
Right.
Some of that comes at the gate. Some of that comes in quarter 2. 3-4 games in. Some comes in the late. Some people do it when it's too late, but you're going to peak. You're going to have your moment. The Giants are doing it at the very right time.
Right. Wouldn't it be something, Fig, if the Giants actually put some momentum in and win the NFC East and then actually get to the playoffs and win a playoff game? It's possible.
Wow, that would be shocking. Because listen, I had more confidence in what you're saying when Daniel Jones was healthy. When he went down last week, like he couldn't even push off that leg, that hamstring is really bad. I don't know if he's coming back.
But they won the game. They beat.
They did. They won the game with a backup quarterback.
Right.
You know what is anything in this climate of COVID, and horrible football? Anything is possible.
Right.
Anything is possible.
Yeah, and you can't put it past. Here's the thing: in the NFL, because of COVID, you can't put anything past anybody. Because let's do a hypothetical, right? Like, you know how I am with my Pelican briefs, right? You know how, right, talent. You know how I am with that, right? If the coronavirus hits the Kansas City Chiefs, which is the number 2 seed right now, and they're paired off against, let's say the Ravens actually get in because the Ravens fall and they barely make it, right? You know what I mean? The Ravens already had the virus, so now they're getting past it. If the Chiefs get a whole team with the virus and the NFL is in the playoffs and they're forcing it, now the Ravens could actually upset the Chiefs because of the coronavirus. That's the climate we're in now. Am I wrong?
Yeah. No, you're not wrong. I mean, and that's going to benefit a team like the Giants. The climate right now. The climate right now benefits those type of teams, because in a perfect world, we already know who will win each game in a perfect world. But they call it any given Sunday because they give the benefit of the doubt to these are all professional athletes, grown men playing each other. The ball could flow anyway. Now you throw a coronavirus in. Now you throw COVID in there.
Right.
Now it's what we used to play. Any man for himself. 49er football. Throw the ball in there. Whoever grab it, run. That's what the NFL is right now.
Right. Fig, look at it like this. Look at it like this. The Giants barely make the playoffs, right? They really get in. The Giants and their team that they have to obviously play would be the Green Bay Packers. I think Green Bay's number 2 or 3. But the playoffs come in. They have to play Green Bay Packers. Green Bay gets hit with the coronavirus right now. The Giants are 2 or 3 players away from being. I mean, the Packers are 2 or 3 players away from being the Giants, to be honest with you. Like the Giants, you take out Aaron Rodgers and you take out their wide receiver, they're an average team. You know what I mean? They're not no phenomenal team. Now, those 2 guys have to sit on the sidelines because of coronavirus. Who do you think is going to win that game? You see what I'm saying? How the odds now shift because of the coronavirus, not even because of the teams matching, but because of the virus now shifts. Does that not favor the Giants and other lower teams?
Listen, man, like Talon said, any given Sunday is possible. That could happen. But here's the thing, man. It can happen with any team in the NFL. And the worst time to get hit with a virus is during the playoffs, man. That is when the rubber meets the road right there, man. If any of these major players go down because of COVID during the playoffs, bro, if anybody goes down, man, you lose a Patrick Mahomes or Tyreek Hill or something like that. Tom Brady.
Bro, I would say this right now on the record. If anybody goes down, any team loses to a team they're supposed to win the playoffs, you're going to see a whole lot of Nate Robinson memes next to the team. I don't care what nobody says. You're going to see mattress memes.
Oh, my God, man. They are still even this morning, I saw a Nate Robinson meme with TD Jakes talking about, get up. He got him. I was like, oh. Like, no.
Well, right or wrong.
You're going to stop talking about Nate night. night. But
Talent, if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. But you cannot tell me that you ain't gonna see some Nate Robinson memes with some NFL team that's supposed to win if they lose, or you can't, because they will be saying that really quickly. Feel like, oh, that team took a nap. Oh, nap. You know what I mean? Straight out with the team logo on his back.
He just took first place from the Jordan meme. Remember the Jordan meme?
The crying meme.
He took that. They put him on. They made a new NBA logo with him laid out.
Yeah.
It's an NBA never box again.
I saw that. All right, I gotta ask one more question about the NFL. Maybe two before we move on to the NBA, because some stuff dropped off in the NBA. The Bills beat the Chargers, right? And the Bills beat the Chargers barely. Now, I've been talking to you two about Anthony Lynn, about how bad he was coaching. Now, I'm not sure if you all saw the end of the game. But Anthony Lynn, as the coach, did such a horrible job with time management. When they were about to go in and score, they ran out of time before they scored, and they lost the game. Now, he's a black coach. I'm all about black and everything else. But I'm sorry, Talent. I think this dude needs to be fired. Like, whether you're black, white, pink, or purple, if you're a horrible coach, you're a horrible coach. That's just my thought process. What's your thought, Talent?
Exactly. You're right. Like, it's certain things that go with the game and with the territory. And then there's things like, you shouldn't be in this job.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, to me, we got to be real. It's not just sports, any job. Like, there's things that, okay, you screwed that up. Okay, you dropped the ball on that. You fell asleep on this. And then there's those things that's like, you shouldn't have a job. If you let time run out,
right. When
you should have this job. And people pointing at each other and all. No. You let the time run out, bro.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, give me your watch. Give me your watch. Look, remember this shit? Jimmy, come on. Give me your watch, then you get out of here. Because I agree with you. Like, those are firing moves. Like, there's accidents, there's mishaps left and right, but there's certain remedial stuff that is remedial. That's why they call it remedial, because it's so simple. How dare you let time run out? You can't do it. That's unforgivable. You know what I mean? You ever see what's my man Morgan Freeman and them, The Unforgiven?
Yeah.
It's unforgivable.
You know what the funny thing is, Fig? This is not the first game. If you one thing, if it was the first game they lost like that, you know what I mean? This is like literally the fifth or sixth game they lost like that because of the coach made horrible decisions at the last minute. Now, if the first game you give the coach maybe made a mistake. The second game, okay. But when you're in the fifth game, doesn't that dude need to be fired, Fig? Or am I wrong?
They need to hire Big Ben. They need to hire. They need somebody on the sideline with a watch and just somebody specifically to keep the time, because clearly whoever job that is can't do it. The head coach is not keeping the time, man. He's just not doing it. It's weird that they listen. You running out of time, but here's something else. You're also always behind at the end of the game, because that's the only time the time comes into play. Is that you're always behind at the end of the game, and that's when the time management is really important. So
that's a good point.
You need to do something better in the beginning game. Maybe if you play the first half like you play in the last half, maybe you wouldn't be behind and time wouldn't be an issue.
Now, I will say this. Anthony Lynn could be an offensive coordinator. He could possibly be a defensive coordinator. He could be anything else, but he cannot be the head coach of a team that's like that, because he's driving me nuts. And you all know how much I like that Justin Herbert kid. I want to see him win a couple of games. Not this week, though, because he's playing the Patriots. But after this week, you know what I mean? I want to see him. I want to see him, do what he does. Okay, we got to talk about the NBA now, because some NBA news jumped off. We know training camp is set to begin. talent, I swear to goodness, I swear, if you turn out to be Nostradamus, I'm gonna have to buy 4 or 5 mugs off you, like right now. If Anthony Davis signs with the Knicks, because the question is, everybody's sitting out the LA saying, "Gee, why isn't Anthony Davis signing a contract yet?" ESPN reported that the issues with the years. I don't think it's the issues with the years. ESPN is saying, Anthony Davis is looking at, 2-year contract. Lakers want him to sign a 5-year contract. They're debating over the years. That makes no sense to me. I think, I could be wrong, but I think he's sitting there going, I don't even know if I want to be stuck with LA right now. I already got a chip. What you think? I already know what you think, Talent, but tell the world in case everybody missed it.
Well, I told you, man, he's weighing his options. His agent is trying to put together the super move that was rumored to be from a year and a half ago. He may end up on a team like the Knicks with a ton of money to give him and give him exactly the money the way he wants the money. See, that's the thing. We're always talking about, we're talking about this new structure of the game. They're not doing it the way we grew up on it, where I'm going to sign 8 years, 200 million. They don't want that. They want less time, more money.
Right.
So I want a lot of money, but I want to get it in 2 years, 3 years. Yeah. We haven't seen anybody sign past 5-6 years in a minute now.
Yeah.
They want 2 years.
Right?
They could skip off on another team that's hot. They be like, yo, I can call my boy. We can get on this other team now. That's what they want to do.
Because it's not about locking in and giving your ownership to somebody for too long of a time. Because this is, again, sports is becoming more and more unpredictable. We're watching guys go out and lose their whole thing with injury. So now you got to be wiser. You got to work smarter, not harder. And if that's the case, and the Lakers don't budge and say, no, we want at least 4 or 5 years, and you're saying you're stuck on 2, that's how you end up in New York, bro.
Yeah, I can't even lie about that, Fig. When you hear that news, and you also, we've had this conversation amongst ourselves, on air, off air, we talked about AD all summer. We've been saying, I think you and I have been saying he might stay on the Lakers, but I think you've been leaning on saying too he might go on the Knicks too. What do you think that the problem is? And do you agree is with what's being reported that it's about the length of time, or do you think that he's sitting there saying, I'm not sure if I want to be on the Lakers? What you think?
Hey man, I'll tell you there's a couple things. One is Rich Paul is his agent, and that's LeBron's, boy, that's pretty much a LeBron pseudo type agency, and that's who his agent is. So that gives me a little pause. The fact that LeBron James played 17 years already and may be on his way out, and AD doesn't want a long-term contract in LA, seeing that LeBron James might leave in another year or so, and he'd be stuck there by himself. And then there's that Knicks thing. I thought about Kawhi Leonard, man. You see, everybody was like, yo, what is Kawhi Leonard going to do? What is he going to do? Maybe AD is waiting for that one piece. Maybe he said, yo, I want the Knicks to pick up this guy. And if you pick up this guy, then I'll come the same way Kawhi Leonard said, if you get PG, then I'll go to the Clippers. It might be something like that. I'm like, yo, man, at this point, anything is possible, man. Talent said it a long time ago. I'd love to see AD in New York, boy.
Yeah.
Woo!
I will say
That'd
this.
be nice.
I'll say this for the record. Rich Paul is his agent, and I think Rich Paul is thinking his agent being an agent first and getting his player the best deal possible first, because LeBron benefits. Let's look at it like this, Talent. LeBron benefits either way because he's he's with Rich Paul. So if AD goes to New York, LeBron doesn't benefit the team wise, but he benefits because his boy is, with that agency, his boy looks out. He's got a little bit of ownership in that agency. You know what I mean? LeBron is winning. You know what I mean? So, and then on top of that, Talent, LeBron could retire, which nobody's even contemplating. He could retire in a year and be like, and he could have had a talk with AD saying, yo, bro, don't sign for 2 years, don't sign for 5 years because I'm out next year. I mean, what's your thought?
Exactly, but that's what I'm saying. Like, see, here's the thing. People he's not going away playing with LeBron. LeBron's going to be okay regardless. He's already been cut 4, 5, 6 deals that behooves LeBron. Let's not look at it like it's about LeBron. Again, we don't know what LeBron's future plans is. He might say, I'm going to do one more. I'm done. Whatever. We don't know. And AD is going to look out for the best of AD, including his agents. They're going to be like, okay, you got a chip here. You know what I mean? You proved yourself here. Now, this is a situation over here. They about to stack New York, or they about to stack this team, whichever one it is. He's going to go to what's best for him. You know what I mean? You're not going to stay just because. That's the thing about the NBA. We've watched, and one thing that's hold true is people's mentality change after they win a chip.
Right.
Yeah.
When they hungry for a chip, the train of thought is one way. When you got it, there's something that relaxes in your body and mind that be like, now you willing to take other chances and not just do. Yeah, you know what I mean? So, like he just gave a great analogy and example with Kawhi, because everybody swore Kawhi was going to resign.
Yeah. Hey, I ask you this, Fig. Maybe it's possible. Maybe him, because LeBron and AD talk all the time. They really home. They go to each other's house. You know what I mean? Maybe they're having a talk amongst themselves, saying, you know what? Sign one more year deal. See if you get the Lakers sign you one more deal, because I'm retired. If we get a chip next year, I'm retiring, and that way you'll be free up to go anywhere you want. You know, I mean, I don't know, Fig. Again, I'm throwing it out there to you. There's all kinds of scenarios on the table. So there's one scenario I threw out there. What's your scenario you think might be happening?
Frank, I'd like to take a page out your book, and I just this just in on the Pelican Brief hot ticker. Anthony Davis said if Dolan and the Knicks would sign Nate Robinson back to the team, and that'll be the chip that he needs to come back and play.
Yeah,
I'm not sure about LeBron James retirement, because it's been reported that he, if his son never makes it to the league, he thought it'd be great that he get a chance to play on the team with his son. So
which would be next year. Which would be next year, next season. Which
maybe he wants to try and hang on.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, to see if his son gets the opportunity to play on the same squad. But it seems fishy that the Lakers wouldn't get a deal done with AD, whether it be like, who cares whether it's 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, like just get something done just to make sure that you guys can make another run at the championship, in this next season, which is about to start in seems like a couple of days. We already in December.
The training camp's open, so these boys are bottled now, so it's open. So.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. The season begins on the 22nd, 3 days before Christmas. So I'm like, and you don't have a deal done yet? That's weird, man. I mean, you're literally talking about 3 weeks before the season starts, and you don't have a deal done for arguably your best player going forward. Your franchise player going forward. I mean, LeBron James is not going to be there another 4 or 5 years, and if he is, he's not going to be playing at this level. Right. So this is your franchise player. You can't get a deal done. That's scary. Maybe tell him this right. Maybe he will end up in New York. They making some moves, man, in New York. The one player that I do like, this may sound really crazy. They picked up Austin Rivers, and I don't care what nobody say, Doc's son, whatever, blah blah blah. I really like that kid. He plays hard. He's got a game. And I like him as a point guard. I really do.
Yeah, he plays good defense. And maybe the Lakers are trying to tell Anthony Davis, hey, bro, before you do anything else, we want you to be the future of the league when LeBron leaves. Maybe that's who knows. But speaking of New York, let's bring it to New York. The way the roster is set right now, I'm gonna say this again, Talent. The way the roster is set right now, do you think the Brooklyn Nets are prepared and with the way the roster is to be able to take the NBA chip as is right now? Because they didn't make any significant moves over the season. They tried to get James Harden. A couple of those deals fell through. They tried to get Russell Westbrook. That didn't pan out because obviously Houston wanted too much. But right now, as is on record, they haven't made any significant moves. So do you see the Brooklyn Nets with Kyrie, with KD, and that whole team they had last year? Do you see them winning the NBA chip?
I don't. Do they have the talent on paper? Yes. Fig said something yesterday. You're talking about a couple of injury proneness over there. You know what I mean? Between injury, can they stay healthy for what is now a full NBA season and the playoffs to get to the chip? I wouldn't put my money on that. You know what I mean? They're going to give us.
Would you say they go?
I think they'll give us an exciting year, but I don't think that they'll be completely healthy through the full year, through the playoffs and all that. So that's the only reason I say no. Now, if they stay together, can they do it in a second season? Absolutely. First season together?
But Talent, do you see them making it to the finals, though? Do you see them making it to the finals?
No.
You don't even think okay. All right. Same question to you, Fig. The way the talent, the way the roster is right now, the way it's scheduled, the way it's put together right now, do you see the New Jersey Nets making to the finals and winning the chip?
You know what? I put just a little piggyback off what Tom say. If they healthy, I think they got a strong chance. Now this is depending on two things. I'm not sure what Philly is going to do. You know what I mean? Philly is a problem for me with Doc over there in the East. And if the Celtics are able to steal a big man, I think they could be in the mix also. But I don't care how big man you get or whatever and stuff like that. If these guys are balling on the level that they could ball, Dinwiddie, LeVert, you got Kyrie, you got DeAndre Jordan, which is a big man, he's still formidable. You got KD. If those guys are healthy, they're gonna be a problem in the playoffs.
Yeah,
and they don't need to get to the hole.
Right. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just thinking, I'm looking at the roster moves and all the moves they were supposed to make, and things were happening and things kept falling through because of possibly it could be mismanaged. Who knows? I mean, maybe Houston wanted too much and they weren't willing to give up so much. And I started looking at it and I was like, you know what? I know it's the beginning of the NBA season right now, but looking at the East right now, I want to ask talent. I'm going to ask you who you think comes out. It's early prediction right now. Of course, it's early. And as the rosters as they are right now, who you think comes out of the East to represent the East in the NBA Finals as is, knowing what the roster moves that happen. You know what I mean? Knowing the roster moves that you see laid out as they are. Because you know what the Sixers did now, right? You know what the Milwaukee Bucks did. You know how the New Jersey Nets look right now. You know the Celtics, they just lost Kemba Walker possibly to January, and realistically it'll probably be to March because it's Kemba Walker. So the Celtics might not even be high up to make it in the playoffs the way they're planning on, depending on how things play out. But again, who do you think is going to, situationally, is going to represent the East the way it is right now?
I'm doing the math right now. Hold on a second. Carry the 1, 2 plus Milwaukee.
You think Milwaukee's it? Okay.
Yeah, Milwaukee edges out. They go back again. This time they get over that last hump and see. We get to see what they got in the finals.
Okay, all right, that's a pick. I can't even disagree with that pick. I'm surprised you didn't pick Miami, but because people still looking at Miami. Fake, who you think represent the East with everything like I just said, all the pieces mix and match and moving around. Miami made not too many great moves. Actually, Miami lost a couple of players. Milwaukee, they made some moves, but they lost some. You know what New Jersey looked like. You know what Philly looked like. Who you think represents the East right now? I know it's early and we ain't seen nobody play, but who do you think represents the East coming out of into the NBA Finals? And I know it's tough to say because it's still early. We ain't seen nobody play.
The Knicks? No. No. Yeah, man, to tell you the truth, if everybody is healthy, that's my only caveat. I think the Nets are going to be a problem, man, because these dudes play effortless basketball, man. They the way that they play is just so easy to score. You got two arguably scoring machines in Kyrie and KD. And then those other guys are not bad either. You know what I mean? Those other guys, look, they were in the playoffs last year with Kyrie and KD on the bench. I know we've seen that scenario before, but these guys are not ball hogs. Too much. Like KD doesn't need a lot of ball time. He needs the ball, but he don't need a lot. KD can sort of put up shots like Klay Thompson. He don't need the ball in his hand to be dominant. Kyrie, if he just gives up the ball just a little more, like say 10 to 20% more, and trusts his other players, they're gonna be a problem, man.
That's a lot of ifs and whats and
just healthy.
If the grits are not thick, if they soft, if the oatmeal's not hot, that's a lot of shit in there, son.
Man, my only ifs is if they're healthy. If
only
they're
thing
healthy, I like Brooklyn.
I said that, but the only thing I agree with you on is the LeVert kid. I got all the albums. The music's hot. So he's gonna go platinum again. I guarantee you that. But all that other ifs and coulda, woulda, shoulda.
I wonder if he was one of Eddie's illegitimate side piece kids.
You know why they're gonna win? Because LeVert, Just coolin'.
It's cool.
And so let me just tell let me say this. To change the subject about the Nets and everything else, let's look at now the roster that the New Orleans Pelicans got. Okay, New Orleans Pelicans, they added Steven Adams, so now you got Steven Adams in the game with Zion Williamson. You know what I mean? So I guess the question will be how you think the New Orleans Pelicans are going to do out in the West. Do you expect them to do better than they did last year? If I remember correctly, they didn't make the playoffs last year. I'm assuming not only will they make the playoffs, I think they might come in be a 6 seed because they added Steven Adams with Zion is a pretty big duo coming out, even though it really looks like AD and Boogie all over again. But we'll see.
Well, here's my question. My question is who's starting point guard?
Don't know.
Is it Ball? It's probably Ball. Ball.
Yeah. That's what I say. I don't know.
Lonzo Ball.
They got a new coach, so I'm saying I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be Ball because the new coach is going to come in there and he's going to make some changes. Who knows? It should be Ball. It should be Lorenzo Ball.
I like those. I like that roster. I like those kids. However, is this the year of the leap for them? I don't think so. I think the third year for Zion there, because this will be the second one. The third year, I think they'll be ready to. This year, there's going to be a lot of tweaking. A lot of, like Fig always joke about the food and keeping his weight a certain place. I think that's what this year's concentration is going to be about. Discipline and getting all of them on the same page. And I think they're going to make a dent. They're going to get in the playoffs. And then next year 3, they're going to be a force to reckon with.
You know what, Talent? You said something that made me think for a second. You said this Zion's going to be second year. Realistically, it's going to really be a repeat of his first year because he was injured most of his first year.
No. On the books, I don't like that. That's cheating. You can't cheat the system. You get injured where you get injured. This is technically going to be the second year of seeing Zion do his thing, right?
Right. Technically, it is. But I'm saying playing time wise, COVID came in and interrupted the season. Playing time wise interrupted the season. So realistically, it's still going to be an extension of his first year. If you see my point, I'm trying to make.
I know what you're trying to say, but here's my thing: when you first come to the league, the first thing is called the honeymoon stage.
Right.
You just got married. You're happy you made it. Come on, both you guys are married. You know what it is. It's the honeymoon. Yay, a lot of this. Yay! She ain't took a shit around you yet or nothing, right? So now here we go into season 2. You know what your wife did to you after she got you? Now she knows she got you. You got the house, you got the crib, you got the furniture. She ordered. You don't know shit about furniture. So now year 2, discipline. He's in discipline mode. Year 3, if he gets through discipline the way they want him to, he's going to be a problem year 3. The whole team is. They're going to be as tight as they can get. Not year 2.
Okay. All right. Fig, what you think?
You know what? I think he's right with one exception.
About the wifey part?
Most of the team, huh?
About your furniture?
Yeah, the furniture part is like, she like, you like this? I'm like, what do you think?
I'm trying to interrupt. Go ahead, Fig.
No, but I'm like, the one caveat to that is that the vast majority of those players, the nucleus of that team, they all played together in LA. You forget that was the AD trade where they traded all of those guys over to New Orleans and they got AD. These guys had already been in LA for about 2 years or so together, and this might be the year that they gel. You know what I mean? So I think, I mean, again, with this health thing, provided that Zion is healthy, this kid, he brings a lot of excitement to the game, and he plays defense, he blocks shots, he goes to the rim real strong. You got a bunch of shooters around him. You got Brandon Ingram and all them cats, Lonzo Ball. You know, these guys are like, they play. So I think they may squeak into the playoffs. Lot of competition in the West. They may get the 7 or 8 spot.
I will say this. I think that you're right about that. I just think they might get the 6th spot. I think they might go up there. But tomorrow's show, we got to get ready to roll up out of here. Tomorrow
already?
I want to finish this conversation tomorrow, but I want to throw it out there to you all so you guys can know we're going to talk about Zion Williamson tomorrow. And I'm going to ask these 2 dudes right here if they think he's going to take the mantle from LeBron. I really want to have that conversation because I really think that a lot of people are looking at Zion to say that he might possibly take that mantle. Now, whether he does or not will be seen. But we're gonna discuss all that tomorrow, right, fellas? We got to talk about
you trying to bite the head off that there crawfish? Yeah,
yes, I am. Yes, I am. I'm trying to do that. Anyway, I'm Frank. That's Talent. That's Fig. You're watching the show called The Box Seat. It's on every day from Monday through Friday from 1 to 2. We're going to have some guests this week. We are also on the Humor Mill channel, on the Humor Mill app. Tell a friend to tell a friend. You know what? Get them to download the app. Call your cable service provider and all that. Until then, we'll see y'all tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel.